Today we're going to talk to the students about cybersecurity, specifically information warfare, which we thought was a cool topic to cover with them because cybersecurity is kind of so big you could spend a lot of time on it. We're also talking to them about us, about where we came from, how we got into cybersecurity.
I'm Emily Major-Goldsmith and I'm from Kinetic IT.
I'm Alex McAllister and I'm from Kinetic IT.
I think the better question is, how are STEM skills not relevant in our industry? We use them with everything that we do, don't we?
Yeah.
It's not even just the technical skills that we use. We use soft skills in our everyday lives, within our jobs.
Yeah, like the last question, technology is so interwoven in what we do. As technology grows, what we do will have to evolve to keep up. Every day, millions and millions more devices are added to the internet. Vendors are sometimes behind in how they secure those devices, which means that cybersecurity teams are constantly putting out fires of the wrong people accessing the wrong devices, and consumers who, for good reason, should not have to worry about this type of thing, is having their information stolen. So as I think technology grows and as more smart devices become part of our lives and get added to the internet, we have to come up with a better, faster way to keep up with that pace. So in the next 10 years is going to be, very interesting, and I think it will be very much a game of, as cyber criminals improve, so too must we improve, but faster. Okay, so what actually is cybersecurity? So I sort of think of it like when you have one computer that's not really connected to anything, it's kind of hard to break into. But as soon as you want one or more computers to talk to each other on a network, it's easy to break into them and basically steal information. The best and biggest network is obviously the internet, which is thousands and millions of computers all connected together. So why do people want to break into computers actually? Like, they want to steal information, they might want to misuse resources. One I can think of is like mining Bitcoin on a computer that's not yours, which is very expensive and can earn you a lot of money. They might want to steal information to bring down a foreign government or like corrupt departments of other governments. A common one that you guys might have heard of in the media is called DDoSing, which basically is sending a ton of requests over the internet to one server, so many that it can't handle it and it shuts itself down. That means that any system connected to that server no longer runs and those people can't use it. It can cost companies millions to fix that and bring it back up again. So it's kind of a big deal. What we like to think of our jobs as is preventing all of that, but it's basically making sure the people who are supposed to be using a computer network are the ones using it, making sure that they can use it and find the information that they need, and they can do it all of the time. So cybersecurity is a huge field, and we could talk about it all day, but we thought that one of the cool parts of it is like information warfare, which I'm going to tell you about.
Okay, so information warfare is just the general idea of stealing information from an opponent, okay? It's been around forever. They've used it in wars from World War I right the way through, but as technology has evolved, so has the idea of information warfare. So it's turned more into trying to steal information through technical means. The biggest thing to kind of take away from information warfare is the fact that information is really, really valuable. And that can be information that's as simple as your name, right the way through to your interests or your medical history. We've got so much information that is related to us, and it can be stolen and sold for a lot of money. We've got 4 teams that you're separated out into. So we've got Pepsi and Coke, which are rivals, and then we've got Sprite and Schweppes. So from these 2 rivalries, we're just going to have one winner, and you get your winner by gaining points from stealing information from other people.
So I saw some fantastic tailgating from a sneaky head of security over there. I also saw eavesdropping. If you were trying to figure out who your rival's company president was, that is actually called social profiling. So it's a common technique by cyber criminals to target, for example, the heads of the finance department, the heads of the HR department, the CEO, the chief information officer. They basically put together a pile of information and then maybe send them a phishing email and get them to try and click on a link and compromise a whole company that way. It's really, really common. I saw a lot of bribery. I saw genuine social engineering. So somebody came up here and was like, hey, how you going? How you doing? Can I sit at your table? We see a lot of that where like people just walk straight into a company, straight into an elevator and have a chat to someone in the elevator like they work there. It's actually really, really common. Some things we have seen was like you guys shielding information or trying to pretend like you were drawing on a different label, like using misinformation. We gave bonus points for all of those.
Most of you might know that Pepsi and Coke are rivals. So a few years ago, an employee at Coke actually stole a vial of their next soft drink that they were just about to release, and they tried to sell it to Pepsi for millions of dollars, like this little tiny vial, right? So if it had happened maybe 10 years before when their rivalry was quite aggressive, it might have turned out differently. But when this happened, Pepsi actually called Coke and the FBI and basically said, hey, we've got someone trying to steal your information. We're not going to take it. And they did the right thing. But this is kind of the things that happen. So you've got competitors like Apple and Microsoft. It happens day in, day out. If I could go back in time, the advice that I'd give myself for looking into my future career prospects would be to not really stress too much about it. I think one of the biggest themes that has come across from Techtrails is that we don't always start where we end up, or not even where we end up, like it's a journey, and whatever you do for high school or university doesn't have to directly relate to the jobs that you end up doing in your future. So just to not really stress about what uni degree you're going to do, or TAFE or anything like that, just get in there, get a qualification behind you, and then figure out the rest as you evolve and develop.
Yeah, I guess this goes off the back of what Emily said about how you discover what you want to do and how to, I guess, communicate to students that they can have a career in cybersecurity. And it seems really scary. It was super scary to me, and so many times along the way I was like, I can't do this. I'm just a girl who did an arts degree, you know. But it's not true. If I can do it, you can do it, you know. I think the best thing you need is confidence, because any tech skill can be taught. You just have to have the right mindset, and you have to be really curious about security. You have to be curious about how people do things and why people might want to steal things. And yeah, I think people who struggle in cybersecurity tend to be people who are not interested in putting the pieces of the puzzle together, maybe unraveling a thing that's already happened or predicting a thing that's going to happen. But if you like that type of game mindset, and you like, you know, it's an invisible game of cops and robbers, it's the coolest thing ever. So if you like that sort of stuff, get into it. Everything else can be taught as long as you have that curiosity.